Ignat's corner, beyond Bent. Janssen! And Blackburn Rovers are 18 minutes away from a Premiership return.
As far as Stewart, just outside the penalty area, clips it central for David Dunn. David Dunn equalises! It just had to be. Dack's corner and it goes, glance towards goal, and Rovers have taken the lead. And Charlie Mulgrew has scored his 14th of the season. It may well be the goal that sends Rovers back into the Championship.
Good evening, Rovers fans. Welcome to our post-match live stream, where I just want to start off by just saying one thing. Come on! Yes, boys! Absolutely fantastic from Rovers today. Boy, how good does that feel after this crap run of form? All this talk about the manager, all the pessimism over these last few weeks. I'm forgetting all that. This game in isolation. What a bloody win from Rovers today. Absolutely fantastic. Every single one of them. That is where the focus of today's discussion is going to be, because I'm bored about talking the manager. I'm bored about talking about relegation. We're focusing on this game today, and boy, does it feel bloody good. Luke, I'm going to come to you first. Me and you have shared in the pain of those watch-alongs. Here we go. We won on a watch-along. How are you feeling after that, mate?
I'm feeling like I've got a really good backside, but no, that's quality in it. I mean, what is it? 7 games now. Yeah,
8.
I forgot. Well, this is the 8th, isn't it? Yeah, I forgot what it felt like. Absolutely brilliant. What a feeling to celebrate 1 goal and then to celebrate the second, and almost then have the comfort of thinking we could actually do it here. No, it's. Really good, really good. It's good to think that we're not the sort of bad luck charms, as it were. So yeah, brilliant. Chuff with that.
Absolutely buzzing. Alex, Ollie, it's nothing personal. I just wanted to go to Luke first because of the watch along pain that we've had. So I'm going to do all the niceties that I usually do, and then I'll come to you two. Rovers fans, of course, please do interact with us this evening. It's been all about Tony Mowbray these last 6 to 7 weeks. My view on the manager is unchanged. I really don't want to go down that path today, and I don't want people sat here going, oh, this is why we keep the manager. None of that. I want it to be about those players today, because all of them, to a person, have been absolutely superb on a very, very difficult day today, with Millwall as a side at home, with how difficult it is at the Den, etc., etc. Absolutely superb. So that's where the focus is today. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that bell notification button as well, so you can stay up to date with all of our live content. And please give this video a like and all of our other videos a like as well, because we really do appreciate your support. Luke channeling the like button, absolutely there. If you joined us on the watch along, just want to say thank you to all of the people that did the super chat earlier. Look at that long list. This is what a Rovers win does. Daniel twice, Kenneth, M. Outlaw, Dave twice, Lee, Michael Pearson, Michael Sandback, Dan Woods, Matthew Buckle, Rick Trowbridge, and Ollie James.
All of them will get a run out at Ewood on Tuesday.
Thanks ever so much for your kind support on the watch along today, and we really appreciate all our fans that have done the super chat all season. You know, we do this for all of you guys, but as we always say, no one is under any obligation to do the super chat. We'll run through the comments as we usually do, and I will be keen to go into them tonight, because bloody hell, that has been a long time coming after the recent form. Just a couple of things before we start, though. We are sponsored by Blue Rose Capital, and we are sponsored by 6yardsout.com as well.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 6yardsout.com. They've got retro football from every era, with mugs, phone cases, and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.
Thank you to 6yardsout.com and Blue Rose Capital for their very, very kind sponsorship all season. So I'm going to just start with the comments before going around Luke, Ollie, and Alex. I'll go to the very first comment from Arnaud. Get in. Christopher Elsie, got to love the look today. Great result. Chris Hayes, he wears blue and white. He said North End are shite with Tyrese Dolan. The future is bright. A rival for Joe Harvey's song that we did on the watch along, Luke. So let us know what you think of that one, Rovers fans. Jay Manning needed that one. Entertaining too. Jay from New York Rovers. Good to have you along. NYC Rovers. We were wondering where you guys were. So good to have you on the channel. FM worked, get in, happy for Mowbray. The changes paid off. See a lot more passion in him today too. Definitely, we saw a reaction today, FM. Absolutely, we did. Rich Trowbridge, I've forgotten what a post-match live stream is like when we've won. Yeah, so have I, because I don't know what the hell I'm going to do as my running order today. I've got no idea. That's how it's been for the last few weeks. So we'll see how we get on. Eugene, feels weird to have won again. Byram, who I know, Byram is the chief commenter, Luke, saying that me and you are the bad luck charm. So that has gone now, Byram. You can stop with that nonsense. It's nothing.
Naughty man.
We played very well today. Great result. Luck was on our side slightly, and a win on a watch along. What more can you want? Giancarlo Rivera just sums it up in emojis. That's absolutely how I feel. Like if I was emojis right now, that is what I would be. Brilliant. David Robert Wood, we won, man. Good man. Rohile, good win. Then a lot of love for your background, Luke. John Browning, why did this work? Was it because Millwall were bad, or was there some special chemistry today? We'll get under that, I think, today, John. Then Juro Burn, Go Blackburn, Ben the Boss, the manager stepped up today. Credit to Mowbray for dropping some and putting a strong, challenging team out. It was really good. A lot of positives today. Dack was used better. Dolan we cried out for. And then I'll do one more. Scotty, simple but effective. We won a bloody game. We did. We absolutely did. So Alex, I'm going to come to you first. Firstly, thank you for pointing out what you did in our private chat. That for those of you that didn't know, Alex spotted that the Rovers goals today were scored in minute 18 and minute 75. So brilliant, absolutely brilliant that. But Alex, how are you feeling after that today? Because I am effing buzzing after that.
So after those goals in those particular minutes, I think all we need is Luke to have a punch up with a Millwall fan on South Bermondsey Station. Which looks like it's someone creeping up behind you there, mate.
No fans here, no fans in the grounds. It's very quiet, eerie.
What I would say is that I don't know if people who watch our stuff know that we have several chats through Twitter, and it's become a bit of a running joke that the night before a game, say good luck for tomorrow for the watch along, and it's become a bit of a comedic. It has had a bit of a comedic quality to it, knowing that we'll invariably lose the game. So 8th time lucky, I think, is the in the end. But yeah, really, really glad to win the game. Sort of forgot what a win feels like in many ways. And I think what I was looking at today was I was kind of looking to next season. I was looking at certain players and how I thought certain players would maybe fit in for next season. So maybe it would be interesting to have that discussion tonight, because I think we'd probably all agree that this season is, with getting the win today, the fears of relegation have abated, if there was any, and it's mainly now how we plan and look forward to next season. So yeah, really, really pleased today. Really, really pleased with the win, and I think the biggest compliment I can pay to the Rovers' performance was that there wasn't much more to a chat other than in a brief period of the first half. And I think that shows that there was actually some happenings and goings on in the game, which from a Rose point of view has been much better than it has been. So yeah, really, really pleased and really, really glad that we finally got the win for the Ryan and Luke curse to finally put to rest. And
what curse?
I'd round up by saying that I'm the only person to appear on a live watch along that hasn't seen a win yet. So I think maybe
the curse.
Maybe the curse has moved from the top two guys on this stream and it's moved over to me. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to carrying that baton from now on. But yeah, maybe I've made the new smile neck there, I think, to be honest.
I think you have, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
Just before I come to you, Ollie, I'm just going to go back into the comments. Michael Pearson at 528. Just picking, Chris made the comment that it'd just be like Venky's to get rid of Mowbray now. And then Michael saying, agree with Chris Hayes. Tony could go out on a high tonight. Daniel Seaward, Tyrese was immense today. Ben the Boss, a good, solid and brilliant all-round display from the boys. Ross Gibson, this is where I'm at, Ross. No matter what your feelings are towards the manager, he got it right today, which is why I don't want to talk about the manager and everything tonight, because just you have to just treat that result in isolation today. It was superb from us, absolutely superb. What else we got? Ollie James, Jack Walker statue is wearing a Tony Mowbray scarf tonight. FM works. We need to fit Dolan in the starting lineup every game. Simply sets the tempo. So we will absolutely talk about Tyrese Dolan tonight. We definitely will. Ollie Walker Peel, what time is it where you are, Ollie? Let us know. But come on, Rovers. Hopefully you're absolutely a few beers in now after watching that. Good to go to bed after a Rovers win rather than what we've had recently. Leap year man, absolutely buzzing with that result. This is what we're capable of. And have we got any others? Yes, Tim Dio. Today's game is why I still believe in him. Great win for the club. We all needed this. Capital all. We did all need this, which is why I think there's been the big outpouring of emotion on that watch along, Tim. And then have we got any others? Yeah, Deuce, Dalford Deuce. So many great performances across the entire pitch today, but Tribal, Galley, and Delinio really stood out. Delinio, yeah, what a performance from him. Gaz Israel, good performance and great to get 3 points. Papering over the cracks or the start of a little run of results? Do you know what? Would not surprise me if Rovers went on a little run of results, Gaz. So let's see what happens. And then any others I've got here. Glenn, here we go. What's Glenn saying here? Don't want to blow my own trumpet, but I've said for a couple of weeks we need to see more of Dolan and Armstrong. And Armstrong has been inhibiting us going forwards. Get in, you blue boys.
Got a super chat snuck in there as well.
Oh, did I miss a super chat? Sorry, that's my bad. Oh, sorry, Juice. Really sorry, mate. Thanks for that reminder, Luke. Juice has come in with a $5 US. Sure, certainly not enough for the hard work you lads put in, but had to show the appreciation, gents. Loving the entertainment. Thanks, Juice. And we've said it across all of our streams and since we've had the super chat and actually since we did all the YouTube stuff that we've done, we do it all for you guys. And that's why we've just been persisting through this horrible run of form, because this is how it all culminates. This is why it's all bloody worth it at the end of the day. So thank you, everyone, for your support and thank you for your donation. Just a reminder, if you do want to join us on the show tonight, that option is available for you. If you did want to call in, just send a DM to Dan at the Rovers_chat Twitter account, and we will get you on like David did a few weeks ago and like FM did also recently as well. Come and join us. Come and bask in this amazing glory. Come and be like Luke on South Bermondsey platform. It's absolutely amazing here. So, Ollie, that's enough of my ramblings because I just don't know what to say now. How are you feeling after that? Because I've made my emotions clear. How are you feeling?
Delighted. Absolutely delighted. Guilty, Michael Pearson in the comments. Guilty, I'm not using lockdown to learn to play this piano behind me. Great shout for a little final countdown jingle, which would have been very fitting to bring us into the stream. I feel pressured now. I either need to move where I sit or actually learn to play it. So, no, really, really pleased with the win, of course. Funnily enough, I think Alex and I were complaining about the starting lineup in our chat before the game, which shows how much we know. So, yeah, I think amazing performance. Not sure where it's come from, but really good. I was going to actually blow Glenn's trumpet for him, but he found it and blew it himself. So, but his call on what would happen if Armstrong wasn't playing. But no, yeah, just absolutely thrilled. And I think we'll get into the detail of the performance. Kind of didn't expect Millwall to be. I thought I actually sort of maybe expected more from Millwall, but I think there's probably quite a lot in what we did that nullified them to a degree, and I sort of expected them to not be that threatening in front of our goal, but to be much, much tougher to break down and us to create chances. And I just think you've got to credit Mowbray with, Armstrong wasn't going to play. I think he made that quite clear after the game against Reading. He sort of alluded to the fact that he didn't think Armstrong was going to play at the weekend because of his hamstrings. But he came up with a solution, and boy, did it work. So yeah, really, really pleased. Loved watching you guys on the watch along as well. Just finally see us get some goals and wins and actually play well across an entire match. So yeah, no, just thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
It's what a surprising result it really was. And Luke, I'm going to come to you because, let's just take the watch along curse and everything aside a moment. Probably one of the proudest performances from a Rovers team this season. If we just strip back the whole season for a moment, early on in the season, we were blitzing teams with the goals and all of that. And Wycombe was a great result because I was thinking, God, if any side's going to lose 1-0 to Wycombe, it's Rovers. But we didn't. We blitzed them 5-0. So that was a good result. And then winning at Derby and Coventry was great to win 4-0 as well, because we don't usually see that from Rovers. But if I just think about how the season's just kind of churned and unraveled a bit, and we find ourselves where we are now, going to Millwall, who don't lose many games at home. What a bloody performance from Rovers today, just rising to that challenge with, it was said before the game, what was it, our 4th youngest team of the season today. Absolutely superb. How are you feeling?
Just echo what you say, Ryan. I was expecting to come up against a brick wall today, really. And in all seriousness, no. Yeah, absolutely. Millwall don't concede a lot of goals, make it very, very difficult. They've ground out a lot of draws, and you didn't expect to come to the Den. And in all honesty, you watched you were on the other side last night, and all the stats were just pointing the other direction, really. We were going to come away with absolutely nothing here. A lot of pessimism across the whole fan base. I weren't sure about the lineup. Ollie's just said the same, him and Alex. To be honest, absolutely to a man today, proud of the boys. It were a good, solid performance. I think Millwall put the foothold on the game in the second half, but to a man, we managed the game pretty well, and overall, it was a good team performance with some, as we'll talk about as we go on, some cracking individual performances as well, and hopefully that'll stand us in good stead now in the close season.
I got to say, that brick wall background you did, it didn't get enough of a reaction in the comments for me when you just did that. So I hope people spotted that, but absolutely bang on with that one, Luke. Brilliant. So I'm just going to go back into the comments very, very briefly. I need to just remember who I got to. Did I do leap year, man? Chuff for the manager and the players today at 5:37. I think I did. Maybe I didn't, but leap year man says chuff for the manager and the players today. Fraser Kirky, Tribal was unbelievable today. Won everything. Buzzing. We'll come on to the players very shortly. We'll pick out those individual performances. Absolutely. Chris Hayes, can't change that starting 11 on Tuesday. Rovers fans, let us know. Would you be changing this side on Tuesday night? Chris Elsey, best game for Douglas and Tribal. Matt Dolan sets the right environment and tempo to follow on with. Lenihan played like a prime Maldini, and THB looked decent, impressed by Tribal. Also Matthew Birtwistle, how did we play? Matthew, this was an excellent performance from Rovers today. Just a complete 90-minute performance from us. When you're going away from home and you're losing the amount of games that we have recently, there were a couple of moments where, Millwall hit the post. They should have had a penalty. And Matt Smith missed a sitter at 1-0. That happens in football. But on the whole, our performance was incredible today, Matthew. So you've got to be proud of the lads today. Michael Sandbach, it's not our strongest overall 11, but it worked because the players on the pitch had something to prove to the manager. Really interesting point, that, Michael. Warren Selby, great performance. So frustrating. Why can't we play like that every game? Byram, surely you let Luke enter the watch along with an M&M background in every single one from now on. That might have to become a tradition, Luke. You know what? When we're in the Premier League, after you doing that for like 46 consecutive live streams, then maybe we've got a case to be made. So try it next time, see what happens.
Maybe not Marshall Mathers, more like M&M Peanuts.
Andy Tubb, finally, our team is collectively instructed to press, be tenacious, harass the opposition, but most importantly, be free to play our game. And then have I got any others? No, I think that is it. So by the magic of StreamYard and the live stream, we're going to bring in a panelist. We've got Ollie Walker-Peel from down under. I think it's near 5 a.m. Ollie will correct me in a moment what the actual time is down there. Here we go. We've got an incoming call. Who have we got? It is Ollie. He's joined our panel. There he is. How you doing, Ollie? Just sum up how you're feeling. It's a different time completely where you are. We're just about to get started on our night tonight, but how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm obviously buzzing. Obviously, I hadn't had a win since January, so to get the first one there is proper buzzing. I know you said that hope I'm a few beers in. As I said, I don't know if you picked up in it in the comments before. Under the legal drinking age, so
don't mean anything.
I've had
underage drinking, by the way.
I've had a Pepsi to substitute, so got that down. But obviously, absolutely buzzing with the win tonight, and that was a great performance. I think Tyrese Dolan. I'll get onto him more in a minute, as you lot obviously want to. I thought he was class. Gallagher was class. To a man, I think everyone were brilliant, to be honest, and I think we deserve the win.
Yeah, we did, and what were your thoughts before the game, Ollie? I did on the other side last night. It was a pessimistic one because, we were on this losing run of form and Millwall haven't lost many games this season. So how were you feeling going into this game? And, what we then saw was just completely different, wasn't it?
Well, it's a weird one because pretty much, obviously I'm still at school. I'm in my last year at school over here in Australia, and the midweek games are on in the morning, and I'll put the Mac through the common room telly, and people sit around and watch it, and I'm apologising to them, just saying, I'm sorry for putting you through this, through our losing run. So then I'm messaging these people saying, I think I'm pretty positive. I'm not depressed whatsoever, but I'm just messaging people saying, oh, can I have some football counselling when we inevitably lose? See the lineup. I think we're set up for it again. I don't know what Tony Mowbray was thinking, putting Tyrese Dolan through the middle. But then again, I'm not a football manager. I'm just a fan. Tyrese was unreal. I was hoping we could maybe get a draw. I always predict a win. Didn't do it today, and we've bloody gone and got one. So, absolutely buzzing. Thoughts before the game, pessimism doesn't matter. There's no room for pessimism here after a win.
No, there isn't. And do you know what, Ollie? Probably all of us were proved wrong in terms of how that game played out. I said on the watch along at halftime, 3 players who you probably have got a question mark when the team's announced. Tyrese Dolan through the middle, JRC coming back at right back after being so long injured, and then John Buckley against a Millwall side that are going to be physical, and it's a difficult place to go and get a win. Those 3 you've probably got a question mark on, going, why the hell are they playing where they are? Those 3, superb today, weren't they?
Look, they were definitely brilliant. I thought, obviously JRC coming back in, it was one that I was happy with initially, of course, but I was a little bit apprehensive, just slightly, that maybe he'd come in underdone. We'd have a little Dack or a Travis situation, perhaps, where they'd come in underdone and they'd be injured again, and then it was all pointless. And I had a little heart in my mouth moment when he went down with cramp. I thought he'd maybe gone down with a hamstring, and that were that for another few weeks. And it was a poor move by TM, but it wasn't. I thought he was electric. You were saying on the watch along that he provided something that Ryan Nyambe didn't. And as much as I love Ryan Nyambe as a footballer, nice background, by the way, Luke. You've had a few today. You've done well there. You need an update one, I reckon, with Tyrese from today.
I thought Tyrese deserved it after your bigging him up.
100%.
Bang on there.
Defo. But no, I think the passes he was able to find, especially with the first goal for Bradley Dack. Obviously, the pass he played, the short one, decent ball, good finish. I think JRC deserves to be commended tonight. I say tonight. You say, well, it's now near 5 o'clock over here. It definitely isn't over there. So I'll say this afternoon for the benefit of most of the listeners. But yeah, it definitely played well, and he just puts a bit of thought into TM's mind, because obviously Ryan Nyambe, while JRC's been injured, has had that spot locked down, and all of a sudden, once he's back, no longer does he have it locked down. He's got a bit of competition, and as fans, it's what you love to see.
Yeah, definitely. And Ollie, I just want to say, because you're one of a few fans, both over in America and down in Australia as well, that are following the Rovers from afar. And we all are at the moment. We're all doing it virtually. But, you know, you at 10 to 5 in the morning in Australia, we've got Dizzy Thumbs and John Browning and Lee B and others down there. And then we've got Dow and Forest City and others over in America. Sorry if I've missed people. You know, this is the collective Rovers network that we've got at Rovers Chat. So thank you for joining us at 10 to 5 in the morning. It's
that's fine.
That's absolutely
fine. I just say, the international Rovers fans, this is the connection to get us together. And it doesn't matter where you're from. If you're a Blackburn Rovers fan, you're a Blackburn Rovers fan. Doesn't matter where you're born. Obviously, I was born in Manchester, lived on Brockhall. Doesn't matter. Born in America, born in Namibia. If you're a Ryan Amby fan, who knows? It doesn't matter. If you're a Rovers fan, you're a Rovers fan. And the fact that we can all come together and unite after a win through this platform is absolutely brilliant. So thank you.
Spot on. No, thank you for joining us as well. And hopefully we keep you awake for the final half hour of the show, but we won't be offended if you end up falling asleep.
Nah, I don't want to sleep. See, weird, after a loss, I'll just want to go to bed. Like last week after the Coventry game, I know we obviously got a point. Obviously the ratings last week for the channel, I just couldn't be bothered. But I'm just riding on adrenaline at the moment. There's no way I'm sleeping. So I'll stay awake for the last 30 minutes and then some. So it's been absolutely class. I can't believe it. So we'll take the 3 points, move on to midweek when I'll put it through the common room telly again, trying to get a few more Rovers fans at school. We'll have to see if we can do that. But, you know, let's introduce them to a winning Rovers side instead of one that loses. But absolutely buzzing with tonight's result. We absolutely deserved it. Played our hearts out. And yeah, it's absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant. No, thank you. And just a little plug to Ollie, actually, because, you know, the Rovers chat site has been, you know, heavily on the video content in these recent weeks. But Ollie has been doing some cracking written content on the Rovers Chat website. So go and check out the stuff that Ollie does on the Rovers Chat site, roverschat.com. Ollie's done some great articles, so go and have a look. But a lot of love for you in the comments, Ollie. So massive respect for you. And by the magic of StreamYard, we'll let you go back to your time over in Australia there, which is Sunday now, which is bloody weird.
Yeah, it's Sunday. I'm on my Mac now. I've just taken out my TV. I'll just plug it back through. And I'll watch the last bit of the live stream. But it's an absolute pleasure to have me on. And hopefully it's the first video for me, but hopefully it's the first of many.
Brilliant.
Love that,
Cheers,
mate.
Nice one, Ollie.
See you later. Quality from Ollie there. Love that. I love the international following that we've got on the fans. And I can resonate with that because I live down in Lincolnshire. Whether it's Lincolnshire, whether it's Australia, whether it's America, whatever, you know, this is what it's all about, isn't it? So spot on. So, Alex, going to come on to you. It's only fair, you know, with what I said at the start of the show tonight about just isolating this game as a performance. Let's talk about the players today. So, hopefully you, Luke and Ollie can just focus on different players. You get first dibs. Talk to me about the player that stood out for you today.
God, you've put me under pressure here. I get the best choice now. So I better not let the side down. I don't want to throw Joe Harvey under the bus, but I might, just for the laugh. That in the chat before the game, I said, let's enjoy watching Sam Gallagher cross the ball into Tyrese Dolan. And Joe said that would be like putting bread in a kettle and water in a toaster. And I agreed with him. But here we are with 1-2-0. So, yeah, I don't mind putting bread in the kettle now. Might try that. So that brings me on to Dolan, who was just sensational today. I don't know how I can begin to maybe quantify or break down what I saw today from him. I can maybe talk a bit about what I thought before the game. So there's many changes, and I think we've all been calling for Dolan to be more involved in the side. When he has come on in the last 10 minutes, he's probably looked like the only real threat that we've had. I mean, cast your minds back to midweek against Reading, and I thought when Dolan came on, he was really the only player that looked like he might fashion anything from what seemed to be a lost cause game. So I think we were all calling for Dolan to be more involved in the side, and when he was announced to be on the team sheet, I think that was certainly one of the more positive aspects of it. I think there was more question marks over other players that were picked maybe, but what shocked me was that he was played down the middle today, and I just can't believe how well he played. Just the constant harrying, harassing the opposition. I think what summed Tyrese Dolan's performance up today was a run that he made from the edge of our own box, deep in our own half, into Millwall's half, and he was just a constant thorn in their side, time and time and time again. And I think one thing I did comment on the watch along was that I think you associate Millwall with that physical side of the game. You know, the centre-halves, their bread and butter is dealing with the long balls and, you know, big physical defenders who like to head the ball. And I thought what Dolan did today was he dragged the Millwall defenders out of their comfort zone. They don't want to be dragged out of the box playing on the halfway line against a 19-year-old kid who's just got pace to burn. And I just think that opened up the entire game for us today. At the forward end of the pitch, I think there's been concerns about us creating and fashioning chances. It's what we've spoken about probably after the first sort of couple of months of the season. Has our goal scoring been as good as the stats say that it has been? And I think the general consensus has probably been no. And there's been concern about not fashioning many chances lately. And I think that's probably something we'd all agree on. But I think today it just seemed like the forward passes seem to be finding the Rovers players. You know, that's not something we've seen for a few weeks. Just the passes seem to be finding the right players. Just the flow going forward, the patterns of play seem to be back. I think Dolan had a massive part to play in that. And I think if you ask me to pick out one standout performer from today, then it has to be Dolan. Yeah, just really, really impressed. And when I alluded to a little comment earlier about looking ahead to next season and maybe which players will come to the fore next season and planning for next season, you've got to be looking at Dolan as a massive, massive factor in that. You know, you're not going to be having Harvey Elliott again in all likelihood. And as a result of that, you're going to be needing your Tyrese Dolans to step up and fill that void. And I think today was the first time that I've thought, I think he can do. I think he can come in from next season and really play week in, week out in this side. And for a player we got on a free from Preston, I'll never stop saying that. Yeah, just super, super impressed with him and really, really glad that we've got him signed onto a long-term contract.
Yeah, definitely. As you were talking, Alex, just the Lancashire Telegraph have published Tony Mowbray's or parts of Tony Mowbray's interview tonight, and scrolling across the bottom, we've got, you know, the first line of Mowbray's interview about Dolan. But, you know, he said, I don't generally give special mention to players, but I thought he deserved one. I thought he was like a whirlwind. I played centre half, and to think that lad would be chasing you down every time you had a touch. He was right in your face. It was such an amazing performance from such a young guy. He looks like he could have another 90 minutes now. He's amazing. I felt he deserved a goal. A fantastic performance, and we're delighted with Tyrese. And just that thing on the 90 minutes from that Mowbray said there, we did say on the watch along, Joe made a really, really valid point midway through the first half and at halftime as well. You know, what do we do when Dolan gets tired? Because that had the potential to really shake up Rovers' attacking play today. He's played 90 minutes today. He's absolutely, from start to finish, just absolutely bust his gut today to do that for the performance. So brilliant from Tyrese Dolan today. And I'm pleased that Mowbray singled him out, because for a young lad like that, who's been out the side, not getting the starts, we'll see all the stuff on social media where we all want him to start. He's come in and done that today. Brilliant. I'm so happy for Dolan, and brilliant performance from him. So Ollie, you know, this isn't you saying that this player is playing better than Dolan. I think we probably all agree that Dolan is probably man of the match. But who else stood out for you today, Ollie, for the Rovers today?
Yeah, if I was ranking them, you'd put Dolan at the top. But I think my number 2 for the day would have been Tom Trybull. Yeah, I think it's funny when you highlight kind of defensive midfielders. He seems to have. He didn't come across as that exciting a signing when we got him on loan from Norwich, and he seems to have divided opinion. I think when he has played, I've never thought he's played badly for Rovers all season. I think when he's played, he's been decent to a good footballer, but he plays in a position that should be unremarkable. You don't want to be highlighting your defensive midfielder because their job, screening the back four and mopping up and feeding players to do things higher up the pitch is an extremely important side of winning any football matches whatsoever. But he was just a bit like Dolan. I think completely faultless today in like absolutely every single thing he did was utterly faultless. I think probably tactically, I think Joe picked up on it during the watch along, but for me, it seemed very obvious, and not to kind of open up a huge talking point, but systematically, we weren't, I think the players were very different, but we weren't a million miles away from kind of how Tony Mowbray wants us to play. But Tribal stayed very, very deep in midfield, and it just felt as if, I don't know whether that was specific, Mowbray had told him, I do not want you going, further forward than, our half of the centre circle, but he stayed very, very close to Lenihan and Harwood-Bellis. And I mean, Millwall didn't particularly trouble us. I mean, Smith's header, which he probably should have scored, but that was probably it, really. I think in terms of really clear chances, and they hit the post, but that was, from a shot outside the box. But the way he screened very close to the centre backs, it was just a very, very calming influence on the match. And I think even in moments when we looked a bit stretched and we were passing around the back, maybe you were sort of thinking, oh, we're doing this a bit too much. He was constantly making himself open for, like, I will receive the ball in a tight space and I'm not going to lose it. And I think he had a couple of slightly wayward passes from Buckley and Dack and Harwood-Bellis, and he controlled it so well, and then kind of evaded pressure from two Millwall players, and then would just lay it off. And it's unglamorous. It's an unglamorous part of football, but the stability it gives you to then kind of Buckley and Gallagher and Brereton and Dack and Dolan, like higher up the pitch, to kind of get on with causing problems for Millwall's defence, is, if you don't have that type of anchor in midfield, I always think it's very difficult to win football matches. And yeah, he was just really, really good. And I think the completeness of the game as well, I think we always look to Travis and Johnson to say, if we always think, oh, we're going to be playing a really physical side today, I think that's what Alex and I were complaining about before the match kicked off, saying you've got Tribal, Buckley, who are, however we line up, it felt lightweight. Perhaps when you've got Johnson and Travis sat on the bench, you think, I've watched John Buckley get bullied out of midfield more than once. And then you think Tribal, I'm not, I wouldn't call him a timid player in the slightest, but we don't know that side of his game. But you think if I saw Johnson and Travis in the lineup against Millwall, you think, right, if they're going to try and be aggressive, we've got two of our most aggressive players are going to give as good as they get. But what was so nice is actually seeing him get in their faces. And he had a couple of interactions with Woods and Matt Smith. And you think, yeah, good. I couldn't care less if Millwall are frustrated and wanting to punch him in the face, and Matt Smith is picking him up by his shirt. You go, good. He's got under their skin, and that shows how good a game he's had, because they're annoyed. And I think you didn't see it on the cameras, but I think on the I Follow commentary, I think, Warren was noting that Gary Rowett started having a go at him when he walked off. He was Rowett had got up off the bench and was shouting at Tribal and was told to sit back down by the fourth official. And you think, we think back to Travis, Savage, players like that, when if one of your players gets subbed off and the opposition manager's trying to have a go at him, you think, yeah, job well done. No, it just felt he really deserved a mention today. It was really, really good. Really good.
Yeah, and there's certainly agreement for what you've said. Ollie, I'll just whiz up slightly. Leap year man at 6 p.m. Tribal as Prem quality, just needs a run of games. Alexander Haben, we got a better Tribal today. Andy Watson, Tribal played the DM role brilliantly. He is the only player in the squad who has no real intention of doing anything in the opponent's half, so he can simply sit in front of the back four. definitely our deepest line midfielder, Andy. Whenever he plays, you can see it every time he comes on or plays or whatever. Leap Year Man, agreed, Ollie. Tom Tribal kept us ticking over nicely today, did exactly what he says on the tin. Stand and stare, agree. Tom Tribal's tight control. Oh, that was a tongue twister. TT's tight control and forward play was brilliant today, and he didn't shirk tackles. And then Fraser Kirky, Tribal was desperate for a fight today. What you want to see from your defensive centre mid. So Luke, just coming on to you then. You've lost your excellent green screen now, so you've just got a green. You've got a green tea towel behind you or something. But you know, who aside from Tribal and Dolan, and this isn't you necessarily saying that they were better than those two players. Who else stood out for you today?
A few. I think obviously the two big ones have been mentioned there. Dolan, head and shoulders above, but a few deserve a mention. Gallagher, I thought was brilliant, having come back from injury. A few driving runs, really caused a nuisance, got into attacking positions quite well. I thought he was dangerous. I thought Bradley Dack, it was one of his better games today since returning from injury. We certainly haven't seen the best of Bradley Dack still, but he's getting in and around positions now that I expect Bradley Dack to be in, rather than more recently we've seen him sort of picking the ball up in sort of a right wing back position. So today to see him in the hole and getting in amongst the goals as well was fantastic. But for me today, the big one was Darragh. I think he was commanding, solid. I think Bellis looked good alongside him. I think that's no coincidence. I think that's absolutely down to Dara being the leader that he is. And I think the big one for me was his distribution. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. There was one point in the second half when in the watch along we made a comment on his distribution, and then he got the ball again and played a lovely ball out to Barry Douglas, out to left back. I thought he was fantastic today, Darragh, and I think he has his critics, and I think it's, when you have critics, you deserve to get the plaudits when they come as well, and today's deserved that, and I don't think he does get the credit as much as he should do. So Dara for me.
Yeah, and I said it in the watch along that I've actually been critical of Lenihan this season, haven't I, Luke? Just with that kind of leader's performance and really digging in. There was a moment in the second half, they brought on Matt Smith and they had a free kick, Millwall, just kind of over onto the right-hand side, and they were curling it in. Even though it was offside, Lenihan rose above Matt Smith, and I think it was Jake Cooper. He had his eyes fixed on the ball and he headed it away. That is the stuff that I've been missing from Lenihan all season, where regardless of what's around him, regardless of whether you got Matt Smith or Jake Cooper or whoever, he was winning that header. That's the stuff from Darragh Lenihan that we know is there, and I just want to see more of it. So brilliant from Lenihan today.
I think I think absolutely what you say. I think it's not that he's been particularly poor. I mean, he's had a couple of games where he has had a few mistakes in him, etc. But I think we've set the bar so high for Dara now because we know what he can do. I think that's where the criticism comes in. He's our captain, he's our leader, so we just expect that from him now, and it was much better from him today.
We had a leader's performance today, definitely. Yeah. When it was, there was that point, even after going 2-0 up, there was that point after Malone had hit the post and stuff, you're still thinking, are we going to win this game? Lenihan rose to it today. I saw the leader's performance and it was fantastic from him. So brilliant from Lenihan. That's the type of performance that we know is there. And hopefully he'll grow into that. He is still not an old person, is he? Darragh Lenihan, what is he, 25, 26? That's not old for a footballer. So, I could be wrong. He might be slightly older, but I think that's how old he is. Just before we move on, the other player I just want to draw out for some praise today is John Buckley. I think John Buckley had his best game in a Rovers shirt today by some distance. First and second half, he was trying to drive with the ball. He was getting involved. There was times when he was physically stuck in. The first goal that we scored, Tyrese Dolan did really well to win the ball off the centre half who'd come over to him. Then it comes into Buckley, who's then playing that pass out. I think just a brilliant performance from Buckley today. Again, in difficult circumstances, he's coming into a side that has lost 6 out of 7 games. He's coming into a side that is playing away at Millwall that hasn't lost many games at home. And Buckley came in and did brilliant today. And Is that the first time that midfield three have played this season? Trybull, Buckley and Dack? Probably it was.
Two things, Ryan, as well. I think we've missed JRC. I completely missed JRC. I thought he was fantastic today, having come back from injury. And on that little side note then about the three playing together, I think it was Rich Short that put, this is the last time we played with consecutive same 11 was Luton of last year. And I think that says a lot about the season as a whole and where we are now. I thought it was probably worth saying that as well. But Buckley was immense.
I just thought it was a great performance from Buckley. And I think the thing about Buckley is technically, I think he's a very gifted footballer. I think you can't doubt how he passes a ball, etc. It's always the physicality with him. So if he can just somehow do what Ben Brereton did and get into the gym and get some physicality into his game, I think he's got everything in his locker to be a good player at this level. But really, really, really pleased for John Buckley today. So just as we move on then, I'm just going to come into a comment that Andy made here, because I think today, you know, I'm in this camp, Andy. Like, I was one of the fans probably having to eat humble pie. I don't mind admitting that, because, you know, when that team was announced, I was saying, bloody hell, if Dolan's up top, then what's going on, etc., etc., etc. Why is JRC back at right back? You know, this is why we love football, isn't it? You know, we aren't football managers. We aren't professionals in this game. And Mowbray's got that little bit of luck today with the 2 deflected goals. It was brilliant. And those 11 players that we've picked today have ultimately dug in, got the result at the Den. And, you know, we're all happy about that. So really good. And I'm absolutely happy to be proved wrong after that. So good. So good. Just going to go back into the comments before we move on again, because I'm really keen that everyone gets their say tonight. Byram, Dack was very good today. Looked as though he was getting back to his best. Andy, the confidence Trybull gave allowed a higher press from other midfielders / forward line. And this is the thing about Trybull being a deep line midfielder. And I've said it on these streams, Andy, that Trybull visibly is the one that will always say to the people who he's in midfield with, I'm the deepest line, you go and do your stuff that way. And I think he does give that confidence when he is in midfield. David, Buckley, man, was good to me, man. Nadeem, typical Dack performance. To be fair, average game, but he always can be relied on for a goal. Ryan, I think the fact that THB hasn't been mentioned tells the story of an assured performance. So yeah, let's just talk about Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Alex, what's your thoughts on Harwood-Bellis today, just really quickly?
Well, I think it's been the story of our season, hasn't it? It's been the constant chopping and changing of the centre-half partnership. And I think when it's all said and done, that's what we'll point to as one of the thorns in our side. And I think even though we lost on Tuesday, that I was subtly impressed with Taylor Harwood-Bellis. And it took a bad mistake from Harvey Elliott to lose us that match. Other than that, we keep a clean sheet and we've got no problems. And I thought again today, I thought he stood up very well. I thought there's maybe one incident, maybe just as Matt Smith came on, where Matt Smith won the header and diverted a good chance wide of the post. And I thought, will he be able to stand up to this barrage later on in the game? But I thought his block on the line when we really, really needed it, that's the sort of mentality that you need to win games of football in this league. You need to throw your body on the line. If you switch off for more than 5 or 10 seconds, yeah, you'll give goals away in this league. So, yeah, really, really impressed with him. And I think he looks more assured on that left-hand side more than he did on the right-hand side. Maybe that's because he's playing with Lenihan beside him rather than another very young player in Branthwaite, and maybe that more experienced head alongside him gives him a bit more confidence to go and play his own games. So, yeah, really, really impressed with him today. And I think it's difficult to single players out on this live stream after today. You know, we've gone on a run without winning games, and we're all very happy that we've won and we've turned things around. And I think you probably only want to pick out the exceptional players today. But, yeah, I don't think there was anyone today that I thought they were below par. I thought everyone contributed to the win today, and it was a good all-round team performance, yeah. Really, really impressed with him.
I'm muted. There we go. So I said, I think so, Alex, is what I said whilst I was on mute. But I'm just going to come into the comments just to tee up the next discussion. So 𝐂𝐬𝐍𝐓𝐀𝐂𝐓, THB has played left centre back before. He played in the last game at left centre back, didn't he? So he partnered Lenihan in the last game. So he's definitely played there before. And I think Andy and Joe have covered the fact that that's where he played also for Man City in the youth levels as well. And then just a couple of things I'm just going to pick up in the comments. So sorry, it's scrolling up and down as I do it. So Dave Fish 84. So the lads always play hard for Tony. He always gets buy-in. It's a hard job with such a young side. And then if I just come into what Mowbray said again in the same interview after the game to the Lancashire Telegraph, he said here, as of the last game, after the run we've been on, I don't think it's evident to me or anyone of a team lacking confidence and belief. I think it's a team that knows it's a good team in this league and just hasn't had the breaks and missed some key players. They are still working really hard for each other as a group and trying to win football. And it hasn't gone our way over the last month, but we keep going and doing what we do. And that was evident. So then I just want to then pick up Ryan Lambert's comment, which is just slightly above Dave's. Does anyone think we've actually played differently today or playing the same plus luck of the draw? So Ollie, I just want to come to you on that. So two things, just with all that stuff I've teed it up with. One thing I have never, ever doubted with Rovers is the fact that the manager wants the best for the side and the players are fully committed to the club. I have never, ever doubted that for 1 minute. The quality, for whatever reason, has just not been there in recent weeks. So that's the first thing I'll say. And Mowbray's obviously referenced that in his interview that he said. But picking up Ryan's comment here, you know, we have had 2 deflected goals today, haven't we? So has the luck of the draw contributed to the result today? Or do you think it was just enough of a hard-working performance that actually you get what you deserve in football, and if you play like how we do today, you're ultimately going to get results?
Yeah, the championships, we probably often say things like this every single week, and I think Glenn said it in the comments and quite a few other people have, that yes, we didn't win for 7 matches, but we were never a well-beaten side. I think the only game this season where I think probably Reading at home, and even then that was just more of our own calamitous defensive work than anything else. We are, every single game we play, we're more than capable of winning in this division. We're, you know, that's why that 7-game run was so difficult to watch, because you can't quite understand why are things going so badly? Why are they playing so poorly? And I think other people have said, you know, why don't we play like that every week? And yeah, I don't know. You know, we're not on the training pitch, we're not behind the scenes, and I'm not sure what it was today. The deflected goals, I think Dack, he shot on target, and you know, it wasn't as if, yes, I think the keeper was probably going to have it covered, but I think we had, you know, we created chances to score 3-4 today. I think just 2 of them went in and the others didn't. Not quite sure what it was. I actually thought Millwall were, generally speaking, pretty poor. And, you know, we've had poor days, and I don't know what you put it down to. We didn't thrash Millwall today. We were the better team and we deservedly won the match. And it's been very difficult to watch a team like the Reading game was a real sickener, you know, as was the Forest game, and we weren't great in those matches, but I don't think we warranted losing them necessarily, but you do, because football's a very unforgiving sport, and particularly in this division, that you make one mistake against Reading. I didn't think Reading were very good, and we said so on the post-match last time round. But you sometimes just need something to fall your way. But you know, I think you make your own luck in football. The goal Reading scored against us was, you know, they put enough pressure on us to make a mistake and scored the goal. And I think we did more than enough to disrupt Millwall today, that and to create enough chances to win a football match. And we did, and we should have had a penalty and they should have had a man sent off as well. So they were lucky in that respect. I think that there are just some interesting, there was a comment, I'm going to kind of butcher how to say this, but it's a Thine adult. I'm not sure if that's right, but it was at 6:09, just talking about, just sort of asking how did Dack fit in things and did we actually play a sort of a productive 4-3-3? And today did feel different. It looked different because there were different players on the pitch, but it was still, we were still in I would say it was still somewhat a 4-3-3. It was the back four as we'd expect it. I think Tribal stayed very, very deep though, so he was very much a 1. But Buckley and Dack were together as a 2, but kind of very much operating, pivoting between the two of them in Millwall's half, and Gallagher and Brereton very much stayed wide, and Dolan was kind of everywhere really. He wasn't, and so it still felt like a 4-3-3, but it was different. There seemed to be a lot more energy, but there just seemed to be a lot more space to play. And I think where things have fallen down this season is where teams, we've just been very easy to defend against. I think Glenn was fantastic on the last post-match to say, we keep going out there every week for 7 games with, individuals do change, but we kind of broadly look quite similar on the pitch, and it just looks quite easy to defend against. But today, we didn't look very easy to defend against. I think probably one difference would be that we seem to find a lot of space in their half, and I think players like Gallagher and Dolan in particular really disrupted how, Millwall. Lucas said last night on the other side that, their back 3, which is, normally is quite a formidable 3. People like Cooper and Hutchinson should give you a really tough outing if you're on that forward line. And what it was today, whether it was just pure energy and running and just, we sort of pulled them out of how they want to play. And yeah, I'm not sure what it was today, but it just happens like that. And, when, like anyone, we've had a terrible February. We had a terrible February before, and, we might now go on a little bit of a winning run, but it's really difficult to put your finger on, really. I'm not quite sure, but we were really good today. But we've said the frustration for all of us has been, we have a squad of players that's really good. I think most of us universally agree it's the best squad we've had in the Championship since we came down from the Premier League. And I think Mowbray is fair to talk about injuries to a point have been disruptive, certainly defensively, and it's not been ideal sometimes in midfield. But I think there have been moments, certainly kind of post-January, where we've had players fit and things just don't seem to have been, the team selection and substitutions and changing things in the second half. But today it just went right. You have to credit him and the players, because it went right across the entire squad today, and even the players that came on were decent. So Mowbray always says things like, you take the points and move on. It's interesting that he's wanted to highlight an individual, because he doesn't normally do that. But I think let's see what happens on Tuesday. I think it's probably important that he sticks with that side for me. It sounds like Armstrong's not going to be fit, so if it worked really well today, let's see if it works against tougher opposition. But we're going to be back at home, so let's see, I think.
Yeah, where I am on today's performance, absolutely nothing lucky about the Rovers' performance today. We saw a 90-minute performance from Rovers today, which we've not seen in a very long time. I think we can all agree it was a 90-minute performance. As Stand and Stare has said in the comments as well, at 6:17 and 6:18, played quicker out from the back, less side to side or backwards passing. That's why deflections only come from shots. Absolutely, Stand and Stare. You've got to have the shots to get the deflections in the first place. And let's reflect on the last game that we had. 2 shots on target, was it, that we had in that last game? So you only get the look if you create the chances. And I just think across the piece today, Rovers rise to it. We had a complete performance. We had all 11 men on the pitch doing it. And again, that's not saying that the previous 11s or whatever haven't tried doing it. We've just had a lack of quality in those previous games. So brilliant today. Nothing lucky about that performance whatsoever. I'll just stick with the comments just before coming to Luke. Michael Sandback just below Stand and Stare. I felt the performance and style did feel noticeably different in the game than last few weeks at least. Kevin Bradshaw, who happy birthday on your happy birthday weekend, Kevin. As they say, you don't shoot, you don't gain. That look. Today we took shots and those deflected shots are deserved. Definitely. Leap Year Man, who is always our voice of reason on these streams. Championship is all about fine margins. We've just fallen on the wrong side of them in the past few weeks. Yeah, we definitely have. Ryan, just responding to the main question he asked. My main point was that I don't think we've played that bad, but you need luck in the championship. You definitely need luck in the championship. You need luck at any level in football. But I do think you create your own luck, Ryan. And I just think the performance level in the last few weeks has not created that luck. You're not going to create luck if you're not playing well. So the two things are linked in my mind. Nadine, the one thing I saw different was the willingness to get the second balls, and we weren't passing sideways and backwards as much. And then Simon, we carved out better chances and so got the deflections. It wasn't luck. We earned this win and didn't earn the wins for the other games. Bang on, Simon. That's where I am. I just think today was all about Rovers, nothing about luck. That's absolutely where we were. So, Luke, I just want to come to you just before asking you about the game. Gaz Israel's comment from 6:15. So he mentioned something here. Love the way that Taylor Harwood-Bellis celebrated with a fist pump after he blocked the shot coming in and went out for a goal kick. You know, this is a loan player from Man City. So, you know, what do you think of that?
I love a good fist. It's brilliant. It's what you get from fist pump, should I say. It's exactly what you get from Benno, and that's why we could all jump behind Benno in it. That's why we got behind Benno. That's why we love Benno in a Rovers shirt. And to have someone on loan come in, do that, show that passion, drive the team from the back line and be that, you know, central figure alongside Lenihan just to get a solid team performance out. That's what we want. So absolutely love that.
Could always rely on you for the little smut on this channel. And Rovers fans, we'll probably finish the stream in about 5 or 10 minutes time, but I just want to go back to Ollie's comment from 6:10 p.m. when he came on the show just earlier. Cheers for having me on the stream, lads. Thanks to all the Rovers chat fans for the comments. Many countries, many backgrounds, one club, Rovers till we die. So I want to do another plug. If you want to have the final word tonight on the post-match live stream, you can do. You've still got time to come and make your point, come and wallow in the joy of today's result. Come on the show. You've still got time in the final 5 minutes. Send a direct message to Dan on the Rovers chat Twitter, and you can have absolutely the final word and set up our Saturday night into our Sunday mornings, etc., and leave us all feeling happy and positive. So come and join us. Ollie's done it. Others have done it previously. We'd love to have you on. But I'm just going to quickly go back around Alex, Ollie and Luke before we do finish the stream as well. So Alex, this is only going to get small airtime on the show tonight. This is a really good win, and we're all absolutely buzzing. I think that win probably rules out relegation. We're certainly not getting the playoffs. So what do you want to see from Rovers? Now we've basically got some free games. You know, what is it? How many games have we got left? 10, 12, 14? I've not looked at the table. What do you want to see over these next few games? Should we now start actively trying stuff that we might want to see next season? So should we start, you know, I'm not going to be controversial here. I'm going to be genuine. Should we start doing stuff like starting Adam Armstrong on the bench because we learn life without him? Should we start trying stuff with our starting 11?
I'll be controversial and say the first thing we should do for planning for next season is sacking the manager, but I don't think that would be a popular thing to say tonight.
No manager. No manager. That's a yellow card, Dan. Give him a yellow card, please. Yellow card.
Yeah.
Just kicked him out. You have no authority here, Alex Lomax. No authority at all.
I probably deserve to be kicked out after saying that tonight. But yeah, in all seriousness, I think we, as a club at least, we need to look at the players we've got under contract, the players that probably will be leaving us, and the players that we think will probably sign on to new deals. And what I would say is this is where it leaves the club in a bit of a sticky situation, that I think there is still uncertainty about who will be in the dugout next season. And as a result of that, we don't know what they potentially want. If Mowbray is going to stay as manager, then he needs to figure out what he wants and who he wants to keep for next season. And, you know, what I would say is that I think we need to see more of Tyree Stolen. He's just signed a new long-term contract. We maybe need to see less of, you know, I hate to say this, but less of Ryan Nyambe and more of Joe Rankin-Costello. You know, more of Ben Brereton and Bradley Dack and less of Adam Armstrong. And these are all of the things that the club is going to have to work out for itself now. What I would say, I think we're all delighted with the win today. We're all Rovers fans. I'm never, ever, ever go on this stream and say, I'm glad Rovers got beat because it makes the manager more likely to get sacked. That is just such a stupid and reductive thing to say. We're all Rovers fans. We all want the club to succeed and do well and want them to win every week. And I'm no different to that. So I'm delighted tonight. But what I would say is that you look at that team and how many of those will be here next season. And not only that, but Millwall are sat in 10th in this division. And are you telling me after watching that game today that Rovers are worse than Millwall? You know, we've beaten them twice this season. I know fortuitously at Ewood, you know, we did beat them fortuitously at Ewood, but you look at that game today, how on earth are we 15 from them 10th? I mean, to me, that just underlines the overriding disappointment of this season at the end of the day. That although we're delighted tonight, I can't brush under the carpet what has gone before. And I think when we're planning for next season, we can't just look at today. We've got to look at the previous 7 games, and not only that, but the previous 32, 33 games as well. So, yeah, the club have got a lot of big decisions to make. I know you were having this conversation on the live watch along, you know, which players are likely to sign and which players aren't. But I'd be interested to hear, you know, opinions on who you would sign up to new deals and who you'd let go. Because I think there's just so many players out of contract. It's really quite ridiculous at the end of the day. And I think any manager is going to have a big rebuilding job to do. You know, they're going to have to sign potentially 5 or 6 players before you even start thinking about improving. So, yeah, many, many decisions to be made. And I'll probably let somebody else talk about who they'd keep and who they'd let go, because I've already called for the sacking of the manager. So I've contributed my opinions more than enough in this regard about who should be leaving. But yeah, I'll let Luke and Ollie decide that.
Just on that point, Alex, that you made about whether Millwall are necessarily better than us and the fact that there is a missed opportunity this season, etc., etc. Just looking at the table, the team in 6th spot at the moment is Barnsley, with a game in hand also on Reading. So Barnsley, if they win their game in hand, can go level on points with Reading. With the greatest respect to Barnsley, who I think are a fantastic side, and you know, you don't need me to tell you that. I've been getting banter from the fans about that. I mean it genuinely. There has been an opportunity to take advantage of the Championship this season, and I think Rovers have missed an opportunity. So just going back to your point, Alex, about are Rovers better than Millwall? I absolutely think we are on paper better than Millwall. We definitely are. And I think we should be where, or certainly getting close to where Barnsley are. I think Barnsley are currently riding a bit of a wave. We should be much closer to the playoffs than we currently are. So we definitely should be.
And that's the point.
Said that in the previous streams.
And that's the point. Maybe people who in the comments maybe saw me shaking my head a little bit when we were alluding to the fact that the fine margins have gone against us a little bit in the last 7 games. But for me, you don't lose 6 out of 7 due to bad luck. You know, there is some underlying issue there, and I don't think any of us, you know, will deny that You know, we haven't played well in the past 6 or 7 games, and we've deserved most of the results we've got. But today, you give credit to the players. They played really, really well today, and you've got to give credit where it's due. You know, I'm the negative Nora. I am more than happy to criticise when it's due, but, you know, equally, you know, I have to appear on these live streams and appear to be impartial, and I cannot look at today's game and say that there aren't signs for next season that are very promising if the manager can get these players to play as a cohesive unit and as a team and play like that more often rather than like a team of individuals, which it looked like on occasion at Reading on the midweek. So, yeah, I think there's a lot of things to be looking forward to, but equally there's a lot of uncertainties still.
For sure. So, Ollie, just going to give you your final word for this evening. So we are marooned in mid-table with 13 points off the playoffs, 11 points off the relegation zone. So we probably do have a little chance now just to experiment. Maybe the likes of Dan Pike at right back, for example. You know, maybe we can start blooding some of those youngsters into the squad. What would you be doing in these next few games? Would you be starting to look towards that starting 11 for next season? Life without Adam Armstrong, life without Harvey Elliott, etc., etc.?
I think those are probably the only two names I think you need to consider. And actually, I don't. Yeah, I'm not. I actually agree with a lot of what Alex has just said. You know, not necessarily saying sack the manager now, and not necessarily that's my exact opinion. But when I always talk about fine margins in the Championship and that we've been unlucky, but we say it on the podcast all the time with Tom that the teams that get in the top 6 and the teams that get promoted do enough to push the fine margins their way. The biggest thing for me this season, I'm like thrilled we've won today, and you know, I don't want to, you know, I'm enjoying the high of having a win finally, but it's Bowyer failed with an unbelievably talented squad, and Mowbray has been a massive disappointment this season. That, you know, we cannot gloss over that fact that this team, the squad that's, yes, there have been injuries, but it is an amazing squad of players that was winning 4-0 and 5-0. The biggest thing for me is if he's going to fulfill his contract and be the manager next season would be to demonstrate that you know, I think he's always struggled with the balance between us being difficult to beat and still being very effective in attack. And, you know, I think it's probably one of the hardest things as a manager that sometimes when we've been really, you know, the games where we have been a bit more resolute at the back, where, you know, those are the games where we've overplayed it in the final third and we are only having 1 or 2 shots on target that were quite easily saved. And the games where we've been a bit more gung-ho, we make really stupid errors and concede goals and then can't get back into a game. And the biggest thing for me now is like, today was not a 90-minute performance. Exactly. How many 90-minute performances have there been this season? I can probably count them on one hand. And you're not going to get promoted if you can't manage a game effectively for 90 minutes. And he hasn't done enough this season to demonstrate that he can do that consistently enough to finish in the top 6. You know, I don't want to be a nearly, and I don't, you know, this season we haven't made the top 6 because we've had loads of injuries and it's been COVID. We're not going to make the top 6 because we haven't been good enough, is quite frankly, but we've had the players to do that. I think we've had the players to be in the top 6 this season. So that's the biggest thing for me till the end of the season is consistency of performance, I think. And I don't think you know, he is not going to experiment. He's not going to leave Armstrong. If Armstrong's fit, he's going to start matches. I don't think he's going to start experimenting necessarily with playing youngsters and thinking, oh, well, I know Armstrong's going to go to West Ham next season, so I'm not going to play him. I just think we do need, I think what the right thing to do would be to give Tyrese Dolan more starts and more minutes. We probably do need to look at, can Joe Rankin-Costello start a consistent run of games and not have problems with his hamstrings? And we're a bit unsure about what's going to happen with Ryan Nambe. And, you know, we probably do need to build an effective attack around Bradley Dack, John Buckley, Sam Gallagher, Ben Brereton. You know, these are players that are going to be there next season. Adam Armstrong may or may not be. And that, for me, that's the biggest thing, is go on a good run of games. Like, win. We've got 3 home games in a row against very good opposition, but win a couple of them and just try and actually demonstrate that you can take us to another level. But I'm not convinced this season. Overall, it's been a massive disappointment for me, despite the win today. And I think teams like Reading and Barnsley are demonstrating what a good manager can do, maximising what you've got available. Tony Mowbray hasn't maximised what he's had available this season. If he can demonstrate that he can maximise the squad from now until the end of the season, then great. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure myself. Still very wary of. I know we weren't supposed to talk about managers. Still very wary of the risk of changing, but
don't risk.
We'll see. I just think we need. Yeah, no, I know. I'll try. I won't talk about the manager. No, I just think we need to win matches and play well, and that's going to be with Tony Mowbray, and demonstrate that he can create a force to be reckoned with in this division. Because if he can't, I don't think he'll remain in the job.
No, you're right, Ollie. It will all come to a head eventually. And I, as much as I've just threatened you with a yellow card, my view is unchanged. You know, I'm not just changing my whole view after beating Millwall away. You know, I still stand by the fact that, is this the manager to get us to the Premier League? Probably not. But, you know, whilst he's here, I'm going to absolutely be delighted with the level of performance that we've had today. And I'm going to be delighted with the way that the players have played today. I'm not allowed, I'm not prevented from doing that as a fan. If I think the manager's not the right one, you can be both, as we've said on these streams. Luke, before I come to you, I'm just going to go into the comments just before you have the final say today. So just very quickly, Dan, the City Eye at 6:31 p.m. if you're still there. How's Taylor Harwood-Bellis? I know that Man City are really interested in how he's been playing. Check out the video from today, but Taylor Harwood-Bellis had a really, really solid game today. So he did really well for Rovers and contributed to a good clean sheet and a good performance. Just above that, Byram, I think we need to start playing players who are going to be here next season. There's no point playing players who won't be here next year. And that's kind of where I am, Byram. I think we should start thinking about what is the starting 11 going to be for next season and get those players kind of together and settled and consistent, which, we've not been able to have a lot this season. Michael Pearson, that's the disappointment summed up. Alex, if anything today shows up our recent failings. Let's just work further down. Kevin Bradshaw, I think we're definitely a top 10 team, playoff team. I'm currently not currently sure with. Yeah, not quite a playoff side, but we're definitely a top 10 side, Kevin. I'm absolutely adamant of that. We are underachieving at the moment, that's for sure. Samuel William, McBride to get a start. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see McBride getting a few minutes now and maybe having a half or whatever. Let's just see what he can do. If we do lose Armstrong in the summer and cash flow isn't very good and we can't replace Armstrong with a top quality striker, McBride might have to make up the numbers in terms of, the striking options. So let's give this kid a chance. Absolutely. Just working further down, Nadeem, I really want to see Butterworth get his chance. He's looked good in the small chances he's had, but injuries have had a huge impact on his chances in the first team. Spiritual Games, good to see the subs going up, chaps. Hope we can turn this around and start clawing some points back. I don't see playoffs, but a top half finish is good enough at the moment. I said 9th before the season, Spiritual, and there's no reason why we can't come 9th, I don't think. So let's just see if we can aim for 9th and kind of be the best of the rest, or whatever you want to call it. But thank you for your support on the subscriptions, certainly. Kieran Kiffin, ultimately it's up to Ryan's dad in terms of Mowbray. Yes, it is. We're not the chairman or the CEO of this football club, so it is up to Swag. My dad's Swag. It's up to him, so let's see what he does. Stand and Stare, will the new ex-Everton fitness coach help us avoid injuries? I really hope so, Stand and Stare, because I think certainly defensively we've been dogged by the fact that we can't put a consistent back four out. So let's see what happens. Adam, bloody hell, it's a good job we've not lost. This is bringing me right down. Oh, I don't share that view. We're cheering everyone up, surely. So hopefully that's not true. But no, we'll see what happens. And then just working further down.
In a minute, lads.
And Wilco, I just spotted Wilco's comment. So this tees you up really nicely, Luke. Thanks as always, lads. Luke, go easy on them. Fists. So here we go. Luke, you are absolutely going to have the final word on this stream. Two things. This is just one win in 8 games, so let's not get too excited, etc., etc., etc. But this result today, I stand by it. I said it at the start of the stream, is one of the ones that I'm proudest of this season because of the whole context surrounding the games and who we had today. So we've got a platform now, haven't we? We've got the win today away at Millwall. Yes, we've got some tough games coming up, but why shouldn't those players have confidence going into those next games? And with the pressure off in terms of aiming for playoffs and not getting relegated, let's see what the players can do and start to build again. What's your thoughts? How are you feeling about that?
No pressure, and some of the young talent's going to get blooded now. Tyrese Dolan and the likes. So, let's just see what the boys can do going into the close season. And if players perform, they ultimately get an opportunity going forward. So that's the main thing. And I'm going to provide some real insight now. We've beat Millwall, so we beat Millwall away, might I add. So we're going to get promoted to the Premier League. We're going to win the Premier League. We're going to win the Champions League, and we're going to get redefined as a sovereign state, and we're going to win the World Cup. So it's all going to happen. We're Blackburn Rovers, and we're on the winning streak again. So times will come.
Love it. That is absolutely the way to end our live stream tonight. I knew I could rely on you, Luke. So thank you for that. And I'll just dip into the comments really quickly before we finish. Simon Child, with lots of midfielders around 30, are all very different. Deciding which of those to keep their salaries is very important. Yeah, really, really valid point that, Simon, when you think of Holtby, Johnson, Corey Evans, Tom Tribal, etc., etc. We have got a few in that bracket, haven't we? So let's see who he goes for. And then Wilco, what a way to finish. Yes, sovereign state Blackburn. that would be something. So good that. So thank you, Luke, for leaving us on that note. So there you go, Rovers fans. We have bloody won a game for the first time. The first one in 8 games. That watch along was absolutely fantastic. So thanks everyone for your support this evening. If you joined us on the pre-show and watch along, and or you've joined us on the post-match tonight, yes, I would love us to be talking about the fact that Rovers have broken into the top 6, etc., etc., etc. No, it's not happened, but let's just treat this game in isolation. What a bloody proud performance that we can be proud of Blackburn Rovers Football Club today. They stood up, they were counted, we got the job done. There was no luck about it. You create your own luck in football. Blackburn Rovers have got the job done today. Superb. I'm buzzing for that. I'm going to go and have a good Saturday evening. I hope all of you will, wherever you are. If you're in Australia with Ollie and everyone else, go and get your 2 hours sleep before starting your next day. If you're in America, like Deuce and all those other guys, when you get round to your evening, go and get as drunk as I'm about to get in about 2 or 3 hours time or whatever. Have a good Saturday evening. If you can't enjoy today, then what is the bloody point? But Ollie, Luke, Alex, thanks for joining me tonight and really appreciate it. We will be back on Tuesday evening, ready for the pre-show and the post-match for that Swansea game. The night before, we'll be back with On the Other Side, as we usually do, with our Swansea fan, Reese, who I will be asking him the question about that Kasey Palmer video. If you've not seen the Kasey Palmer video with Reese, I'm going to be asking him all about it. So come and join me on the other side, and we'll see what he thinks about that Kasey Palmer video. And if you've not seen it, just search it. Search Kasey Palmer Swansea and you'll see it come up. Kasey Palmer retweeted it, I think, on his own Twitter account. Go and check it out. But Reese will be with us on Tuesday for sure, for sure. So it'll be good. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Please hit that bell notification so you know when all our videos are live. And please, today we have won. So I'm begging you today, the pre-show and watch along, give it a like. This show, give it a like. Everyone go and like it. Let's get the most likes we've ever had on a video just to cap the fact that Rovers have won today. So please, please go and do it. And I'll just leave you with two things now. Three things, actually. The first, Rovers fucking won! The second, we are sponsored by Blue Rose Capital. Thank you for your very kind sponsorship. And I will leave you with our sponsor message, which is 𝐒𝐏𝐎𝐍𝐒𝐓.com. Thanks, everyone. See you later.
The Rovers Chat YouTube channel is proudly sponsored by 𝐒𝐏𝐎𝐍𝐒𝐓.com. They've got retro football from every era with mugs, phone cases and much more. They also have plenty of Rovers goods, including apparel with the famous 94-95 season and this season's kit. Check them out using the link in the description below.